And you forgive me if I call William Ruto the butcher of Kenya. That's what he is. Last year in Azimio demonstrations, over 70 dead. The known ones, because we don't know whether they falsified records also last year. This year, we don't know how many, but I bet there are more than 100. What other name can we call him but butcher of Kenya? This has to stop, and it will only stop because you and me want it to stop. Kenyans must stop fearing. Some who were killed were not even in the demonstrations. You are met going about your business, children coming from school, people in a supermarket. So even if your fear keeps you away from thinking about this, it can happen to you or to your loved one. We are called upon to save our country. Our country is gone. The republic is no more, not the way the Constitution knows it. In its place, we have a colonial, exploitative state that doesn't care about people's life, that is gleeful when taking away people's life. It is gleeful when forcing Kenyans to die of hunger. It's gleeful when civil servants, including the police, have pay slips that are in the negative. This fight is not about one person, and it's not a battle to fight an individual. It's a system that we must uproot and have a better system, a state that caters for everyone. We cannot have a state that forces us to give everything we have as taxes just for the comfort of the ruling elite. The purpose of a state is not to make the ruling elite comfortable. It's about taking care of the needs and best interests of the majority. That's what we need to restore.
Do you think the president is tone deaf? Do you think he's in denial?
He's totally tone deaf. But those who don't know William Ruto, this is his DNA. Lies, corruption, and disdain for the lives of the people. Yeah. I've worked with him, and this is his DNA. Yeah.
Do you get to call him? I'm assuming you have.
No.
You don't talk.
Nail by mouth. Nail by mouth. I have not talked to him since the 2022 elections. Yeah.
So no conversation,
No,
no what you're doing is
not
wrong.
at all. We are not friends. So on what basis would I be calling him?
Are you and Raila friends? Would you
Yes.
say you're friends?
Yes.
So,
but now we are estranged by the happenings, because I can't say I'm very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes, we are estranged by the happenings, because now if we were to meet for tea, what would we talk about? You see?
How he signed a deal behind closed doors, maybe?
You see, if people do that, because this thing didn't start this year, that's what people must know. This thing started last year, and I'm starting to believe that the day Raila met Ruto with Obasanjo in Mombasa, all the deals we are seeing were made then. That's now my belief. And I believe that Raila did not tell us everything when he came back to us as Azimio principals. You remember even last year there was a rumor of nusu mukate.
Yes.
What are we seeing? Isn't it the nusu mukate?
It is.
It's the same thing, that rumor of last year. I believe even the AU plot was hatched last year in Mombasa, not this year. Look who was with him when he announced. The midwife, Obasanjo. Obasanjo is the midwife of all these deals. He did not even tell us that he was going to AU. We heard it from the press. I believe these deals were made last year. William Ruto is as cunning as a fox, if not more. And I actually had discussed with Raila. I was out of the country. I came that Saturday after the meeting on Friday. And I had talked to him on a long distance call when I saw that Ruto wanted to meet him. And I was imploring him not to go alone, to at least take one or two people with him. Principals, I meant. he went alone with Joho, Junet, and Macau. So he didn't go with any of the principals. He went alone with his own aides. I'll call them his aides.
So do you
look at what has come out eventually? I believe for a person, because he has struggled for this country and sacrificed, it is just a pity that now we see him as aiding and abetting Ruto to subvert the constitution. First of all, the going into government of 4 senior people in the hierarchy of ODM and in the hierarchy of Azimio, because Oparanya, chairman of the board. Raila's own utterances and those of his MPs that he gave Ruto experts, it means that it was a party-to-party deal, but done contrary to the law, because the law demands that you cannot have as political parties a come-we-stay marriage. It must be through the front door, a post-election coalition. So they should be honest enough to say their party is in a coalition, have a coalition agreement, relinquish the minority seats. The design of the constitution is such that certain key committees, public accounts and public investments, each has 3 committees, so 6, total of 6 committees, ought to be chaired by a party not in government. And the standing orders say that in black and white. So when ODM has one leg in government and another leg in opposition, they're actually blocking accountability. They will not, even in human nature, be able to hold to account people who are senior operatives of their party. Those seats should be occupied by a party or parties not in government, so that they can be able to do the watchdog work better. So actually, that union is a union to subvert the constitution, to undo the checks and balances that are provided for. It's not good for the country.
Do you feel betrayed by Raila? As mother, as he's running me, do you feel betrayed?
I feel he betrayed us, but not by not giving us the whole. Even when he said that he had talked, that they have talked and there will be talks. You remember at KICC? Yes. We were also seeing it from the press. But I have done, and now Kenya has done what ought to be done. When there is betrayal of that magnitude, you withdraw. You see, we have given our notice and we have nothing to do with Azimio. We do have friends who are there, who are in opposition, but it's up to them to make up their minds and ask themselves whether there is anything they are pursuing.
Okay.
Yeah, so as NAK Kenya, we have already charted our own path. Yeah.
Had he consulted, had he come to you and said, Mother?
It would have been a no. Yeah.
No dialogue.
It would have been a no. Definitely. Remember last year we had already dissociated ourselves from the NADCO report and we had said it was a useless report whose outcome does not reflect why people went to the streets. It had not addressed the needs of the people. It addressed needs of leaders. Because who was going to be leader of opposition? You don't need a title to play the role of opposition. I've actually played opposition role since 2013. You don't need a title or a salary to do that. So creating an office was not the reason people went to the streets. It's about cost of living. And cost of living is not just about food. When the cost of living is high, people don't afford the basics. They will not afford school fees. They will not afford medical. They will not afford food, housing, and all the others. Our constitution is very clear, Article 43. That for those basic needs, it's the duty of the state to ensure every Kenyan accesses them. We therefore would expect that part of our taxes is used to lower the cost of living, to take over burden of education. Look at what is happening to university education. Parents whose backs are already sagging because of weight are being given more whatever. Ruto and the people in his cabinet went to school with public funds in public universities. Almost, I would say all of them, unless there is an exception. We all went to school with public funds. We were given loans that covered tuition, accommodation, and food. That enabled children of both the rich and the poor to be the same at the university. The access was equal. And that's why William Ruto, who prides himself as a chicken seller, to go where he is. So why is he removing the ladder that he used to climb? Is he saying that no other children of people who have no financial muscle shall ever go to university or rise in this country? Are we as Kenyans going to allow our children to be denied education? Are we going to allow us to be denied our basic needs? When Article 10 gives all the residual power to the people, the Gen Z were actually exercising power pursuant to Article 1 of the Constitution. And when you are exercising that power, you don't need to go through Parliament or through the court. The numbers of people who came out at the peak of those demonstrations in 35 counties, and I believe it was in all counties, it's only that not all counties have press. That was a withdrawal of mandate for the Ruto government. So even forming cabinet is forming, knowing very well his mandate has been withdrawn. If he was an honest person, a person who respects the rights of the people and the electorate, that magnitude of people coming out to say no to his taxation policies and to all other injustices, he would have done the honorable thing and resigned. In the West, people resign. And you cannot say this is Africa. It's the same democracy, same constitution. If people come out in those numbers, don't kill them to quieten them. Exit. And don't wave to us mandate that you were given 5 years. This is not a title deed. It's a job you were given. You can be sacked at any time. And I believe he was sacked by Kenyans. And if you are sacked, you exit. And don't ask us what will happen. You are not God Almighty. You are not indispensable. Just go back home. Last year, 2022, you are telling Raila to go to Bondo. Go to Sugoi, man. Resume your chicken business. Let Kenyans get other leaders.
Go to where?
Sugoi, and resume your chicken selling.
Yes, it's doing well, by the way, in the market.
Yeah. Go resume your chicken selling. Let Kenyans breathe. When you tell people you want a national dialogue and you're killing and abducting them, aren't you asking them to talk when your boot is on their necks, when they are suffocated, when they are bleeding from the gunshot wounds, when they are burying their dead? Are those people in a position to talk?
No, they're not.
When they are still searching for people who got lost, whom we don't know whether they'll be ever found alive, we're not able, Kenyans are not able to dialogue with him. The boot is on their neck. Maybe he wants to dialogue with his friends. He says it's a broad-based government. It's as broad as ODM and KK. That's how broad it is. Not every Kenyan is in ODM and KK.
Just
Everybody else is left out. Yeah.
So it's an ODM KK affair.
Yeah. And they ought to just formalize their marriage. And holy matrimony, in political terms, is a post-coalition agreement. Yeah.
So some people would argue he's a good man. He just have wrong advisors.
Who?
Ruto.
Even good men resign. Yeah. When people withdraw mandate, we don't want to know how good, how bad. You are illegitimate. Yeah. And just like he kept telling Raila to go to Bondo, the road to Sugoi is also clear. Yeah.
But a lot of people say mother is a person of integrity, right? And I don't take that lightly, especially when it comes to politics. What has made you stand your ground? Because people say politics is a dirty game, right? Have you never felt the urge to want to be on the other side?
I think that politics is not dirty. It's the players who are dirty. You choose how to play. And I believe that God put a moral compass in each one of us at the factory. And that little voice that questions your actions, you find hesitating and you find yourself talking to yourself, shall I or shall I not? That little voice, don't ignore it. It will always stop you just before you go into something wrong. So all of us know what is right and what is wrong. Even Ruto knows what he's doing is wrong. He just doesn't care. It's his way or the highway. But when you're managing many people, you can't manage us like it's your chicken farm. You got to go back to the rules. See whether the rules allow you what you're doing.